Hello, I'm Dan Passarelli of MarketTaker.com here on the floor of the CME Group. One of the stocks that we talked about today in our Market Taker Live Advantage Group coaching class was America's sweetheart stock, Apple, symbol AAPL. Take a look at a chart of Apple. Apple's had a little bit of a pullback recently, and part of that pullback comes from some statements that were made a little while back about how they expect cell phone sales going forward to be a little bit lower. Now, there's some other interesting news in Apple about wireless charging being in some of the future models, but a couple of things that are really of note outside of that simple fundamental news about how they expect lower sales is this pullback that we're seeing, sort of the technical setup. And the other thing is that today, being a very special day, the Russell 1000 and 2000 will be undergoing some rebalancing. Now, as part of that, what they do is they have to sort of buy and sell some shares of some of the components within those two indexes. And as well as the ETFs themselves having to do some of that, some of the people who are doing some indexing and they have funds that try and replicate those, they'll also be buying and selling some shares of some of the companies within that index. And of course, some of the speculators looking for some short-term profits who are trying to look for some opportunities because of this rebalancing, well, there's some of the players that we're looking at today too. Now, what does all this mean? Well, Apple's been rebuying some of their shares. And so what that means is some of the indexers are going to have to sell some Apple stock today. Now, that can put some downward pressure on a stock that's already headed downward on the chart, that already has some bad news, and it could potentially be a catalyst to push the stock a little bit lower. So I like a short-term trade in Apple, simply buying the 185 puts with about a 2-week expiration. Now, I love this trade because it's a 2-week expiration, pretty short. I certainly would not want to hold this for 2 weeks because of the high theta. I'd look to hold it for a couple of days and be one of those people looking for the opportunity to take some of these short-term profits. I think that if because of the rebalancing this afternoon, and because of the chart setup and because of the news, we could end up having a little bit of follow through over the next couple of days, and we could have a potential to reap some short-term profits. This is Dan Passarelli of MarketTaker.com here on the floor of the CME Group.